Hi guys, Paul here, PABrewNews. Time for a morning beer. Here we go, in the PA, in the morning, in the brew, in the news. So, little remnants of a smoking, smoldering fire over here, which is fine because it's just going to add a little nuance, but we're good. We have, oh, ting ting. I should have put this in the thing. It's cold. It's cellar cold. So there you go. It's about 50 degrees in the cellar. So it's noticeably cold right now. But this is 2015, I do believe. Fegley's Brewworks. This is the bourbon barrel aged Insidious Imperial Stout. And it comes in at 9% alcohol by volume. I wish it was 19, but we'll deal with 9. So there you go. And they are from Allentown, Pennsylvania. Boo-doo, boo-boo-boo, ba-ba-ba-doo. And brewed by the Allentown Brewworks, aka Fegley's. And Fegley's was the one I did for my 1000. I think I did that Arctic Alchemy, and I believe that, and that is also Fegley's. I think that was my 1000th beer review on the channel, on video, not beer review, but video on the channel. So there we go, thebrewworks.com. That's kind of pretty interesting, just thebrewworks.com. That's a pretty umbrellaed term, so I don't know, they must have had that for a while. 9% alcohol by volume again. To cast the spell, we squeeze from malts and roasted barley, boil their spirits with East Kent Goalie hops, unleash English ale yeast to ferment it upon, and finally lock their remains in charred oak bourbon barrels. What emerges is a black deity-sized libation that will be your portal to the dark side. All that sounds great. All that is just the cat's meow. That is good. I like that. And no tasting notes, just some nice waffle, which is good. Pop it open. Here we go. Here's the Allentown Brewworks. There you go. Let's see if it actually focuses. Local Fegley's Brewworks, Allentown, PA. Put that right there. Got it cracked open. To put it in the beer. Put the beer in the glass. There it is. There we go. Ooh, I can still smell the bourbon off this thing. That is a good sign right there. I can still smell the bourbon. There it is. Fegley's Brewworks. Up to the sunlight. There is a lot of ruby hues coming from the pinnacle of the glass. Nice little effervescent carbonation that I can see at the pinnacle of the glass as well. It formed a nice little cocoa colored ring. Maybe khaki colored ring. I wouldn't say cocoa. But that 9% is leaving a lot of alcohol legs already. I can smell caramel, peppery bourbon just coming right off this thing from a distance. So there we go. A nice smelling bourbon barrel aged Imperial Stout. It's a little bit light on the bottom here. Like I said, there's a lot of ruby caramel hues from the pinnacle of the glass here, but there's a little carbonation, so the beer's still kept its liveliness over the years. This is the 2015. I forgot to put that in the title, but there we go. Pulled that out of the dungeon. So 9% alcohol by volume, maybe 9.2 or 3 now by now. I don't know if that really will change, but I think it should, I think. A little bit, maybe not a lot. Okay. Let's get a real aroma. Let's put the face over the glass and get a real aroma. Okay. There's a soft bit of a raisin and cherry as well. Nice little char, roasty toasty. Earthiness, a little bit of copper coin. Definitely have a lot of nice little baker's chocolate, caramel. Maybe a little dark chocolate too. It's got a heck of a nose on this beer. Heck of a nose. Good morning. Good morning. How are you, sir? Oh, my thing's all screwed up right there. My phone's all cracked up and I got it on the wrong side. But it looks like Bullman's, okay, I can't see the picture very well either. Bullman's Beer Reviews, I think it does say. Good morning, sir. And Adam, Mercy Beers, good morning. Time to, and then a little smoke wafting around to accent the smoky char that's in this beer too. Cheers. Nice bit of oiliness to the beer. I would say it's a bit thin as for my Imperial stouts. Very easy drinking though. There's a slight bit of carbonation wafting in the back of the palate, moving some flavors around. You have a nice oiliness with the body. It is overall that kind of medium side of a medium body, kind of tapering the balls of the high side of a medium body. It doesn't get into those nice high areas that I like to be. Oh, I can actually see it. Now that Adam threw that in there, Bullman's beer is the correct term. I didn't want to call him the wrong name. I couldn't see it. I just saw Mans. I was like, Cool Mans. That's not right. But now I see your picture and your words. There is a little bit of a soft, three things, and they're all subtle and they're all together. But it's almost a soft grape tone, a vinous tone, a little bit of a cherry tone, and a little bit of a raisin tone, all mixing together. And that has came with age. Did I say that right? That has fortified. It has the fruition of the fruit. It has come with age. That was not in there initially. The 5 years have brought fruits to the table. This is pushing 10%. It's 9. It doesn't drink like anything. It's so simple, so easy. You could just power this thing down. Comes in 4-packs, generally 20 bucks a 4-pack, I do believe. Bourbon barrel aged Imperial Stout, you know, 4 of them. I think it's $5 a bottle. I think that's generally it is, and I don't think they make a lot of it. It's one of those things, limited quality, limited quantity, not quality. That's funny. So there you go. But hey, it's pretty good. You have that nice subtle nuanced fruit now that came with age because it's a 2015. You have a nice roasty toasty hint of char smoke, a little bit of nice earthy tones from that East Kent Golding. Also that copper corn tone is still residually there. Then a little nice burnt toasted malts, of course. Barrel char. Wish there was vanilla, and I'm not getting it. I think that vanilla sweetness from the barrel that you should be getting would complement that amazingly well and lift a little bit of that caramel and that caramel peppery bourbon too, and then just kind of wrap everything together. But lacking, it's lacking. I can't talk, but sadly it's lacking. That's what I tried to say. Sadly, it is lacking. It is still an Imperial Stout if it's below 10%. Well, yeah, I mean, technically Imperial, I mean, generally I categorize, and I've heard it's categorized before that, you know, Imperial hits like 8.5 plus, 8.5 plus. I mean, hell, what was it, Buxton? Was it Buxton Brewing here? Their Czar is only like 8.5 or something like that. I mean, unfortunately, I've had so many goddamn Imperial Stouts. This is our Imperial Stout coming in at 7.3. I'll just shove it up your ass and then wait for a while, and when you shit it back out, maybe it'll be 10. That'll be nice. Yeah, I always think Imperial, you know, 8.5 minimum Imperial. If you're gonna throw, I mean, I don't even like when people put double stouts out. Oh, this is our double stout at 7.2. Really? Wow. So what you're saying is your regular stout's at 3 point something, or, you know, 4? No, it's 6. Well, then why isn't the double stout 12? I don't know what to tell you. But I like my big ABV beers, you know what I mean? It's just, I like big sessionable ABVs. I always find big ABVs easier to drink than lower ABVs. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just like the alcohol. The alcohol. I like to get where I'm going faster. You know what I mean? This is a nice beer. I wouldn't say it's upper echelon in the Imperial Stout category. It is a lot. The age has just really mellowed it out, really just made it super approachable. Export stout is a term not really used anymore usually. Yeah, that was about 6 to 9%. Yeah, the I mean, I know there's a couple export stouts. Can't think of. I think Macallan. Macallan. There's a couple Scottish ones I was thinking of that usually they put export stout down. The Guinness export stout, you know, things like that. You know, well, I think that's 8 or 9, something like that. That's nice. I like the Nigerian ones a lot. The Guinness Nigerian is really, really nice. I like that beer a lot. Don't see it very often, but I do like that. I used to buy the extra stout from Guinness, and but way back in the day, and it was from, you know, St. James Gate, Ireland, the whole deal, blah blah blah. And I used to really like it. And I bought a case of it one day, and it just tasted like garbage. And I turned it over, and it was from Canada, so I just stopped buying it because I started brewing out of New Brunswick, and it just didn't taste the same. And it was one of those ones where I could tell there was a taste difference before I knew it wasn't from the original supplier. It was one of those kind of deals, so kind of just never went back. But the Nigerian one's really, really nice. Oh. Yeah. The bourbon's kind of mellowed down. The aroma's still real nice. That little bit of a caramel whiff, that caramel bourbon whiff is still there. You get a little bit of dark fruit. You get a soft little bit of char, roasty, toasty, little mineral quality in the background. It's a nice, easy drinking beer. This would, you know, remind me of a bourbon barrel aged, you know, export stout kind of a style, because it's so low key, it's very sessionable, it's easy drinking, which is real nice. But I like mine thick and bombastic and chewy and ridiculous and redunculous, and you know what I mean? And this is not that. This is just like, wow, no, sis, boom, 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 talk, talk, talk. What's up, Vanessa? How you doing? Yeah, this is just something that's really laid back, simple, easy. The age has definitely helped the beer as far as accessibility, as far as, you know, just giving it to somebody. Here, try this. Ooh, mellow, sweet, nice, good. You know what I mean? I wish the vanilla kind of kicked up too with the barrel. I think that would have been nicer. But the dark fruit was a real nice surprise, you know, because this is 5 years old now. The dark fruit was a nice surprise. Real mellow, easy drinking. Nothing's, you know, no staleness, nothing negative to say that way. It just drinks so easy for 10% basically. It's just so easy. No burn, nothing. And it's one of those things, I've said it before, I always find it very odd that craft beer, normally, you have to put the word normally there, craft beer normally hides its ABV extremely well. And I don't know how they do it, because a lot of times more traditional styles, more traditional brewing companies, you know, the old, you know, the Germans, you know, all these, the Germans, you know, all those, I get a lot of traditional styles, even English styles, you know, German styles, more just traditional styles, Belgian, exactly, you know, the list goes on. I find, like, wow, well, this is 8%, you really can tell, you know what I mean? And then you're drinking other ones, like I drank one with the good Joe, the average beer patrol Joe, and we were drinking a McKellar Black Hole, I think it was, and we were just like, wow, you know, this is a little rough, you know, for what it is. This and well, I was drinking it, like, oh, it's, oh, I like it, it's charry and mean and the whole deal, blah blah blah. And Joe's like, well, you know, it's a little bit, and then we all looked at it. It was like 19 point something %. They're like, oh, this is smooth as fuck. This is stupid. And it was because we were bitching that, wow, I mean, this is probably like, you know, 8%, 9%, 10%. You can kind of tell, and then you find out it's almost 20, and you're like, oh, fuck, stupid. Craft beer, I don't know why, it just, they seem to know how to, something about the process or something that's different, where, you know, triple IPAs taste like they're 6, you know, and Imperial Stouts taste like they're 6, you know what I mean, when they're actually 12, something like that. Unless the body throws you off, I think sometimes that's the other thing, is like, sometimes I can drink beers and I go, this is easy drinking ABV wise, but the body's a little bit, you know, I have to take my time because of the body or something like that. those are indicative signs, like an Imperial style, like it's super thick, and you're like, okay, well, what's going on here? Oh, it's also 15%. You know, you know, those kind of things. But I'm just amazed how easy this is drinking. I like when you get your nose into it, you can still smell that char, you can still smell the barrel, you can still smell that bourbon. It's still there. It didn't fall off, and I like that. Agreed. I find that wee heavies and 60, and oh yeah, always have a warning alcohol traditionally. Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me. No, traditional old, you know, styles like you said, wee heavies and stuff. I mean, they don't hide their ABV at all. You know you're drinking something crazy, and it's not that crazy though. That's the thing is, you know, because I know I haven't had one. I've had 80 shillings, but I think there's like 100, 120 shilling beers and stuff. So I mean, they must warming, not warning. But yeah, you could feel it. I mean, it's just something when you're drinking, you're like, whoa, that's got some heft to it. I was drinking. Even when you're drinking something like different quads, I mean, you're drinking like the St. Bernarduses and stuff like that, and you can drink a St. Bernardus and you're like, oh, that's smooth, it's nice and this, but you can feel the warming in your chest, you can feel this, you can feel that, and you can drink a craft beer, any style, that's like 6% higher, and you'd be like, no, this is easy, this is as easy as pie. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I really don't. Like you said, wee heavies, double box is another one. Double box don't hide their ABV. Traditionally, from what I found. I think, what was I saying? I was saying with my double box challenge, I think I was mentioning other double box. One of the best ones I think I've ever had. It's not German, it's French Canadian. From 12 Musketeers. It's the Three Musketeers in I think they're out of Quebec, but I could be wrong. But they have a double bock that is just absolutely fantastic. And I'd love to get another one. They make an Imperial Porter, they make a double bock, or a Baltic Porter, a double bock, and something else I've had from them. And they've all been just absolutely stupidly fantastic, but I can usually only find them when I drive to Ontario. So if I go back to Ontario, I will be looking for that. 120 shilling does exist, but it's rare. Usually a Brewer's Reserve release had 80 shilling on cask in Edinburgh, and it was crazy. I bet it was, and I want that. I want all that. I want to go back to the Grove in Uddersfield and tear it up. Tear it up. Because I tore up the Samuel Smith's pub. I really like Sam Smith's, and when I was over there, I liked him even more. So that was really great to drink a shit ton of their beer and buy everybody pints from. I was in the not the Crown and Anchor. The Crown and Anchor is on Port Street, over by the Port Street Beer House, which is nice. I really like that one, just for a nice little go in and fish and chips and all that bullshit, and just, you know, working. It was kind of a more traditional, like it was basically Landlord on tap for the whole time, and I loved it. I had a great time drinking Landlord on tap, on cask rather. But I was over at the Crown and Shield, which is, it looks really nice on the outside, and you go and it's kind of a dump hole, but it's got some good craft beer in there. So I bought everybody around, and the girl behind the counter, she's like, yeah, we don't do that here. I said, good thing I'm not from here. There you go. And then she brought everybody, and I got a lot of thanks from people, and that was cool. I like that kind of shit. So especially when I'm drunk and stupid with money. Oh, it's gone. It's gone just like that. It's gone. Yeah, that fruit really just, again, it added to the drinkability. It really did. That little bit of that 5 years in the barrel or in the bottle added that little fruit twist, that little bit of plum, kind of plummy grape kind of quality, cherry. Wow, hell of a thing. Northern Monk Bar in Manchester has Landlord on permanent cask line now. Oh, there you go. Northern Monk didn't open theirs when I was there, so I haven't been to that one yet. So I haven't actually been to that one yet, but I have had some Northern Monk when I was there. I know I had Death by Northern Monk, and I have 2 deaths? I think I had, one was called Death, because I was double fisting. I had Death, and I had Satan's Little Helper or something like that, at the one place we went to with Rob that night when we all got dressed. Was it James and I, we got dressed up and we went out in suits. And Stu was twerking with this girl on the street. It was pretty awesome. I don't know what the hell happened, but it was pretty awesome. But yeah, both of those were really, really good. Death Rides a Horse. It's something like that. It's something, I can't remember what, but the one was Death, and it was really good. And I had it on tap, and it was nice. But yeah, I'd like to go to the Manchester Northern Monk when I go back, because I will go back. We must go back. I like this. I would say, I'm not going to give a super high score because I said, like, you know, it's an Imperial Stout that drinks more like a Baltic Porter, more like a lower Baltic Porter. An Imperial Porter with a little bit of fruit kind of tonalities and stuff, because it's just too thin for me. Like, it's just too thin, but it's very easy, approachable. It's Death and Glory, maybe. It was that and that. I had two fistfuls. That's when Harry was hitting on me. It was good times. I liked it. I would have said yes if I wasn't so pure. You know what I mean? Bourbon barrel. Oh yeah, I'm gonna give this one an 8.5. I'd still give this an 8.5. I like it better fresh. If you want more of that raw, in-your-face barrel char, it still doesn't have the body it's supposed to have. You know what I mean? If you know what I mean. So I would still give it an 8.5 either way. But aged, it just has that drinkability. It has that little bit of a surprise fruit added that I really like. I think I would probably drink this aged if I had the choice, now that I really think about it, because it talks the talk. I mean, especially in the fresh, the bourbon is just coming off, and the chocolates and roast and char, it's talking the talk. But when you drink it, it doesn't walk the walk. It doesn't give you that huge, like, just sitting back sipping on this beer for hours while you're smoking a cigar, kind of a pipe, you know, by a fire, you know, with sex slaves, or I don't know what people do anymore these days with COVID. But it doesn't do that, you know. And I want kind of every beer that I drink to be that beer. And it's redunculously rare that I find that kind of beer. But when I do, it's a 10. It's an automatic fucking 10. You know, it's one of those kind of things. I mean, you could even mislabel the fucking thing as an Imperial Pilsner, but it turns out to be this gloopy, disgusting, barrel-aged Imperial style. I'll still give it a fucking 10 because, you know what I mean? So, style, it's a 1, but overall, it's a 10. This is, I'll give it an 8.5. Fresh and aged, I'll give it an 8.5, but personally, I think aged, I like it. I like it a lot. Now, I do know, and I doubt it moved, I really doubt it, I do know that there is a case of Ballast Point's bourbon, or high westified Victory at Sea, excuse me, sitting up in the mountains at a beer distributor that nobody goes to. And if they do go to it, it's for macro shit, you know what I mean? They even have a case of Twyquire, the Scottish ale. They had Werewolf, they had J.W. Lee's, they had Triple B, Bateman's Triple B bitter. They're old as fuck. I mean, the cardboard's falling apart on the boxes. They had that's where I got the case of St. Mary's, the RCH brewing company that closed in 2006, I think it was. I have that. They have a case, and the case of George Gale's Conquest Ale from 2006. I bought that because I had a really good one before, but I didn't use my brain face. They had it upright. Now, if they stored that this way the whole time, the corks would have stayed moist. The beer would have been good. They don't know that, though. They don't know there's corks in it because if you've never opened the case, if you never had their beer, and it's not written on it, please store on side because of corks, because they're dicks, you have to, you know what I mean, store it like this so the cork stays moist, so air doesn't dry out and get oxidized. Unfortunately, the case that I bought for $60 was oxidized. So that was, you know what, live and learn, okay? You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. I look at it like, you know what, I've had some good versions of this back in the day. Unfortunately, that one wasn't one of them. But they have a capped mild, a festival, not probably not Festivus, but festive, something like Festival Mild or something like that. That's got to be from 2000, early 2006 or older. So I don't know if it's gonna age the best, but it's a fucking traditional British mild and a case of it. I have to go try to get it. I was talking to the guy, now it was a while since I've been there, I was talking to the guy, hopefully breaking it up into singles, that way I can buy singles of this, singles of that, singles of this, because I want the fucking Triple B bitter from Bateman's, because the bottle looks awesome, everything looks awesome on it, old school as shit. I mean, the box, the artwork looks like it is the 80s. I mean, I don't understand the box. I mean, it just doesn't look like it doesn't look like a beer artwork that I would see in the last 20 years. I mean, it looks kind of dated, you know. And of course, like, the cardboard's so old that it's like if you touch it, it'll actually like crumble and fall off. But I want the goddamn case of beer because it might be shit, but it'll be fun to try it shit, you know. We do that to ourselves as certain beer people. I mean, Harry has done that to himself numerous times. Oh, I bought this. It's 60 years old and I bought it for £1. Let's try it. Oh, I'm sick now. But you know what? Fuck it. It's fun. It's fun to do. So I'm going to try to do that. I'm not buying beer as a whole for quite a long time because I want to save money, do this, do that, and, you know, fix the house, fix my body, save money, the whole deal. So I won't be buying a lot of beer per se. But if I do get some money around, I might swing up to that beer store that I was talking about and see if they did crack some things open so I can get singles, or if they'll give me a deal on this or a deal on that. And I look absolutely fucking horrible in the sunlight because I'm old and falling apart and need sleep. So there you go. So that's fun. Yay. Let's see. Depends on how old the Bateman's is. Anything 2015 or later will be terrible. I can guarantee you, I will say this without a shadow of a doubt, that it's older than 2015. I think it's older than 2005. They also have an old ass case of Calamity Ale, which is not even close to what the artwork is now, and the artwork now has been that way for at least a decade. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying, is because nobody around here, especially back then, because now we have a whole mass movement of craft beer, which, you know, people that get in the craft beer at some point in time will get back into traditional beer too. So, but now we have this influx of people trying new things, seeing what we can do, blah, 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 blah. Back in the day, and still this is kind of the way it is today to a certain extent, the case store mentality, where you can only sell beer by the case, and no one ever would dare gamble on beer. I go buy my case of Keystone, case of Miller, case of Bud, case of Busch, case of this, case of that, because I know it's always going to be good, and that's what I like, and I don't like things that are different. You know what I mean? So that's where that beer store lives still to this day, probably, that mentality. So there's and his grandmother was from England, so his parents would always get British beer in because they knew, you know, she knew what to buy and this and that and blah 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 blah. So I mean, it was just stupid the amount of British beer I found. And that St. Mary's ale from the RCH Brewing Company, that's now closed since like 2006 or something like that. I think they still do brewery tours, but that's it. Oh no, they have a chain of pubs. They kept the pubs open and they closed the brewery. I think that's what it was. But that was from 2006, and it wasn't dated, but that's when the brewery closed. Wow, Brother Lee, how you doing? Did you hear that Morricone passed away? That is a sad state of affairs. So you have Danny Hicks pass away, and then Morricone pass away in the span of a week. So fuck all that. So I've been listening to a lot of Morricone anyway, which has been funny because I actually just recently wrote a Western, which is funny, like a pioneer Western that we're probably going to shoot next year, not this year, because I'm too fat for the job, so I have to lose weight. but I've definitely been listening to a shit ton of Morricone. So that is going to be fun, and I'm going to send it, and when we actually release it, I'll send it to you, so you and Dan can watch it and make fun of us. So that's good. Hey, there you go. With all the other films that we're going to do too, we're going to definitely have They Must Be Destroyed on Sight, a movie podcast. Check them out on Podbean and YouTube on the Lee Russell channel right there. That's a plug. Boom. Yeah, we'll definitely send any films and stuff that trailers or films or anything we'll do so you can plug them and review them and just make fun of them and have a good time. So that's important. But yeah, definitely want to get as much English shit as I can from up there. I got the case, an old case of Werewolf, the Lithuanian extra lager, strong lager, Euro lager, and honestly, it's delicious. You could tell it's kind of fell off the face of the earth, that kind of St. Mary's ale, but at the same time it still has a lot of nice characters, copper coin kind of characters, that earthiness. It has the caramel, it's got those fruits, you know what I mean? Like it's still a good beer. You can't give up on a beer just because it's old, because it still might be good. That St. Mary's ale definitely is still fantastic. Awesome. Catch you later, dude. Just gotta go editing. So well, enjoy the editing. I'll talk to you later, Brother Lee. So anyway, I guess that's me. I guess I'll just piss off. I've been on here for half an hour. So yep, Insidious, bourbon barrel aged Insidious Imperial Stout from Fegley's Brewworks in Allentown, Pennsylvania. PABrewNews, Big Daddy. I'm gonna say this is gonna get an 8.5 out of 10 for me. 5 years old, 2015. And it's been Paul from PABrewNews, and I'll see you next time on another beer review. Bye bye. Watch that finger, and remember, Maniacs Meat Podcast coming up tomorrow night, Tuesday, Big Daddy slap match. The Maniacs Meat Podcast will be on tomorrow night, Tuesday night. We're going to be doing John Russo films, so definitely check it out. I should have said that when Lee was still on.